everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video I will be unstuffing my travel binder. My last video I did let you know that we did come back from our trip from Europe, so I am dedicating this video kind of to talk about our trip, plus I will be taking out all of the expenses that we had spent from our Europe trip. So if you are new here, my name is Ange. I do cash stuffing, budgeting, and savings videos. So if that's the type of content that you like, then keep on watching. So for today's video, we will be taking out all of our spending that we did on our trip. It was a 2-week vacation, just me and my husband. I did get a comment saying that they thought that I was cash stuffing for my entire family. I guess with these amounts, probably it would make sense that it may be for an entire family, but we ended up leaving our kids at home because we knew that we were doing quite a bit of traveling within Europe, and our kids are fairly young still, and I don't think they would have been able to keep up. There were some places that we did end up going to, and I was thankful we didn't take our kids because they probably would have died, or we would have died trying to have them catch up with us. So yeah, so it was just me and my husband, and we did visit 4 countries total, and a few cities within each country, or some of the countries. We did fly into Berlin. My friend did get married in a little town in the outskirts of Germany, so it was more on the countryside. So we did take a train out there, spent a few days with him and his family and friends, and then from there we went to Vienna, which is in Austria, and it was a beautiful city. I guess I didn't really know what to expect from the city, and I'm really glad that we ended up spending a few days there because it was very lovely, and we did get to learn a little bit of history there. So it is definitely a place I wouldn't mind visiting in the future again. And then from Vienna, we flew to Naples, which is in Italy, because we wanted to visit the Amalfi Coast, and we stayed in Positano. We did a hike. It was called Path of Gods, which is incredible. The views from that point of the hike is breathtaking, and I'm very glad that we did it, even though it is quite a trek to get up to that. I guess it's like the hilltop in the city. It takes about like 2 hours from the bus ride from Positano, and just getting to the bus stop itself, it's like in that city alone is just like a lot of steps to get to places, since it's all kind of on a hill. And yeah, I think if we brought our kids, they would have struggled, or we would have struggled. I think we probably wouldn't have done a lot of things if we did end up going with our children. And then we did visit Amalfi while we were there, and we took a ferry out to Capri. And then from there we went to Paris, which I've been multiple times, but I don't think I've actually never been just my husband and I. I've been with friends and with my husband and other couples traveling to Paris, and I feel like every time I go to Paris is always a different experience. And this one, I felt like it made me fall in love with Paris again, because I knew in the back of my mind that Paris is one of my favorite cities, but just going again, and we did a couple of tours while we were there, so it was really nice. All of the other times that I've gone, because I do have a friend that grew up in Paris, so I had visited him a couple of times when I do go to Paris. So he kind of showed me around before in the past, but this time, because it was just me and my husband and we took a tour, we got to learn a little bit more about the city. We got to see things that I haven't seen before. So yeah, I feel like every time I go to Paris is always a different experience. So I'm always falling in love with the city again and again. And then our last leg was back to Berlin. So we spent a couple of days there before we flew back home. So that was basically the gist of our trip. We did quite a bit of traveling, taking trains and planes. So let's just get started on this unstuffing. So I did calculate all of my expenses. How I did keep track of it was kind of just on a notepad. So anytime we had spent something, I kept track of it in specific categories, and I also kept the receipts. I kind of did, so rather than going through my credit card to get the exact amount, I kind of rounded up to the nearest dollar. So it would be just easier for me to calculate and keep track of while we were spending on it, or spending on our trip. Before we start unstuffing all of our expenses from our travel, I did make some change. I'm not sure what it's going to look like when I take out my money, but I do know that I have placeholders in there that may need to be broken up. So I have $500 in cash in different denominations. So hopefully it's enough. This 500 obviously will go right back to the bank, and it won't be cash stuffed in here when I do my restuffing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unstuff all of our expenses to pay off our credit cards, and then I am going to restuff all the categories. So I'm going to unstuff everything after I take out the amount that goes to the bank. I'll set that aside, and then I will restuff in specific categories. There are a few that I know that I don't want to include for this binder anymore, since we didn't end up using any of it. So yeah, okay, let's count this up. I do have $500, so we have 100, 200, 300, 50, 400, 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 96, 7, 8, 9, 500. So 500 here, and this is strictly to make change. Okay, and I'm just gonna keep the 500, obviously, when we have to put everything back in the bank. So airfare, we didn't spend anything because all of our flights were already paid for up front. Accommodations, we did end up spending $51 because there were a few cities that did require city tax when we checked into our hotel. So that came out to 51, which isn't too bad. So 101, and I will put back $50 for accommodations. I'm not even gonna bother counting it, since we're gonna restuff it all anyway. So transportation, we did end up going over what we had budgeted. So transportation, we ended up spending $870, and that included cabs. So one of the most expensive cabs was going from Naples to Positano. What I should have done is I should have booked it early, a shuttle to our hotel from Naples airport, because it's about an hour and a bit away. But I was thinking, oh, well, because we had a flight really early, just to do the cab ride. And when I was actually looking for, when I was looking for the shuttle, it came out to almost what I thought the cab ride would cost. Going back, I think it was like $70 per person. And what I was reading online was it was around 120 to 150 for a cab ride. So our cab ride came out to 160 euros. But yeah, if you can book early, then I would suggest to do that and not do what I did. I didn't want to figure out the whole busing and train thing, and I'm kind of glad we did take a cab, in the sense that we saw so many people struggling with their luggages going up those stairs, and it would have been really painful for us to do. So yeah, I think that transportation alone costed almost like over 300 euros just to get to and from the airport to the Amalfi Coast. And then we did take some other cab rides, and then this also paid for transportation within the city. So we had taken like their public transportation system, which is mostly trains. They had other rails and buses that is also included in this cost. So we spent $870, but we only have 5, 6, 7, 800, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28. So 828. So I will take out $42 from a different fund that we will unstuff from. So nothing left from transportation. I will, you know what, I am going to take out the 42 from food and eats just so I can remember. Actually, maybe, yeah, let's do that for now. So 50, I'll give myself 5, 6, 7, $8. Yeah, $8 back for this. All right, so our biggest cost was for food and eats, which was expected. So we spent $1,353 for all of our food, and I included the gratuities in this as well, because there were some cities that did ask for gratuities. I guess it's kind of one of those things where it's not required, but it's nice to give a little. The first restaurant that we ate at that did actually ask for it was an Italian restaurant in Vienna, and I guess we weren't really expecting it, because where we were eating before, they would just ask, oh, are you paying cash or credit? And then they'd bring out their machine, they'd just type in the amount, and there's no like, oh, do you want to add a tip or anything like that? And we would just tap our card and pay for it, kind of thing. But then this restaurant, the server actually asked, oh, there's no tip included, would you like to include a tip? And then we really liked the food there, and then my husband basically tipped kind of like how we would tip here. So we tipped like 15%. And then later I started watching some videos of people that had traveled to Europe, and I guess basically talking about the tipping system, and they're saying that people are paid a fairly good wage out in Europe. So it's not like here, where I know that servers are paid less than the minimum wage, and they basically rely on tip. But in Europe, everyone's paid a fair wage. So the servers, they're getting paid, and tip is nice to have. And if they are asking for a tip, then just give them a few bucks, make a bill whole or something like that. So if it's like $48, just make it $50, give them $2, and they'll be very grateful for it. We ended up tipping 15%, and our waiter was like really happy. He had said, oh, come back the next night. And then I guess after watching that video, I realized, oh, that's probably why he was saying that. And so then after that experience, where if we did tip, we would tip based on the service plus the food, if we enjoyed it or not. But we would probably tip no more than 10%, because I think even 5%, waiters are happy with receiving a little bit of extra for anything. So anyway, that's my experience with the tipping. So it's all included in the food and eats portion of this. I didn't separate it. So we'll take out 1,353. Hopefully 1, 2. I was hoping I didn't have to break this up, but I can. So we'll do 2,000, and then give myself, what is it? $447. Let me get my calculator just to make sure. So 2,000 minus 1,353. Okay, 600. 600. So I will put this here. Take the 5 and a 1 and 47. 20. Okay, that is good. So 5, 6, 47. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do after all of this is I'm gonna count what I'm gonna take back to the bank just to make sure that I have enough. So I'm not accidentally taking out the incorrect amounts. Okay, next one was activities. We had spent $232. So we did do some city tours. We did some free walking tours and we did some paid walking tours. And that was really helpful because we did learn a little bit more about the city. So this included any tip that we paid for and any entrances to museums and stuff. So 232. I would, oops, what am I doing? I would advise on doing any type of walking tours, and I suggest the free ones because you basically pay for how you feel the tour guide experience was. So if your tour guide was very informative, made you laugh or something, we would give out a little bit more tip. But they usually send like a little greeting or details about your tour, and they would say that most people give about $10 to $50 per person for the tour, depending on what your budget is and how you felt the tour went. So yeah, we kind of based our tipping based on that price range that they gave, and we could also see like what most people were giving, and they were giving like $10 to $15 per person for the tours. And some of the ones that we got were really good, some of them not so much. There was one that we had taken and I was just struggling trying to understand our tour guide. Like his English was, he could speak English, but I think how he put his English together, it was really hard to comprehend what he was saying sometimes because he would start something and he wouldn't finish it properly, or I don't know. I was really struggling during that tour. I almost wanted to just end it halfway. But yeah, that's the experience. And we did, so Guru Walks is, I think, one that had recently come up. I think they're fairly new because I know that the last time I had went to Europe, which I want to say is like over 5 years ago, we did do a walking tour with Sandman. I think it's called Sandman's walking tours. Free. They do free walking tours. Some of the tours I heard, they do ask for like kind of a holding fee or something like that, but it's like very minimal. So yeah, some were really, really informative, and I would highly suggest some of them. And I know that me and my husband are likely going to write some reviews when we get a chance to do that. Okay, so 232, which I don't have, so 232, I will put 300 and give myself $68. 50, 65, 6, 7, 8. Okay, good thing I gave myself some change. Seems like it's working out so far. Okay. So for entertainment, I didn't use anything from this envelope. Gratuities, I already mentioned that we had basically included it with our food and eats, and the gratuities that we gave for the walking tour we included in activities. Emergency we didn't use, and then miscellaneous. We had spent $529. We got some stuff for our kids. So we basically FaceTime them every day. We tried to do 2 times a day. It was a little bit hard because when they come back from school or whatever activities they have, it's usually like 2 or 3 a.m. So I set my alarm to wake myself up so I could FaceTime with them. But I felt so bad that they were home without us. But my parents did a really good job watching them and taking care of them, making sure that they got to all their activities on time and did all of their homework. So I'm really grateful there to have the help of my parents. But when we're closer toward the end, I was like, I really want to get something for them because we had missed them for like 2 weeks. So there was a Lego store at the airport, and I just got them a few Lego packages, which they really enjoyed. My son is really into superheroes, so luckily they had some Marvel ones. And then my daughter's a lot more easier to shop for, I think. And then we bought food, some snacks that we brought back. Germany is known for their gummies, so we brought back packages of gummies. They have these wafers that are popular in Vienna that we had bought back, and then some chocolates at the airport that we brought back. So nothing crazy, but that was basically from our miscellaneous fund, and we spent $529 also for some souvenirs for ourselves. So we collect magnets from every city we like to visit. So we bought a few magnets. All right, so $529, and I am just shy of a little bit, so I will give myself, and I don't know if I have enough, but $11. Okay, that works out. Okay. Oh, so miscellaneous didn't have very much left. Okay. All right, so before I restuff this travel binder, I will count everything. Our total spending came out to $3,035 plus the $500 that I started with, so I should have $3,535 here. So 1,000, 2,000, 500. Okay, let's do it this way. Maybe I can do it this way. All right, so 1,000, 2,000, 500, 600, 7, 8, 9, 3,000, 100, 2, 3, 400, 50, 70, 90, 510, 530, 535, 3,535, which will go to the bank. I am going to set this aside right here because I'm gonna start unstuffing this, and then we will restuff it with what we will end up keeping. All right, there's 2 envelopes that I plan to not keep, which will be the entertainment, because I feel like that is the same as my activities, and I kind of felt that way when I started cash stuffing after a while, because we don't usually I don't know, I feel like they're not very separate. They're kind of the same thing, activities and entertainment, because our activities that we do is considered entertainment. So they're kind of one and the same. So I am going to take out that one. I mean, I'm glad that I have the extra cash for it. And then our gratuities will also be taken out, since it's a part of our food and eats in reality. And the other tipping that we ended up doing was during our activity. So emergency, we didn't end up using our emergency fund, and the reason I created it was in case there was an emergency, say like we lost our luggage and we had to buy new clothes or anything like that. So I kind of want to keep it just because those things can still happen in the future for future trips. And then our miscellaneous, I should really create a tag for it, so I know I've just been stuffing a blank envelope. Okay, so we're gonna start off with airfare. I don't remember how much we had in airfare originally. I think we had almost $1,000. So I am, oh, actually first I will take out what we're not gonna keep. So Entertainment was the one, and also gratuities. Okay, that makes it a little easier. All right, so I think for airfare we can put in 1,000. We'll do 1,500. I think that should be good. And then, because I'm thinking of just doing the big ones. Oh, they're all like 500. Let me see. I know that I have 2,000 here. So 100, 2,000. Okay. I will do 2,000 for accommodations. Our transportation, because we kind of overspent here, I will put in this 500. Food and eats, we will do 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 for now. We'll do 800. I honestly have no rhyme or reason for how I'm stuffing this right now. Activities, our next trip we are going to do it with our kids. So we'll put in 100, 2, 3, 4, 500 for activities. Emergency, actually, you know what? I think for accommodation, for emergency, I'm gonna put in the $1,000 placeholder because it's nice to have $1,000 for emergency. That's my reasoning. And then we can just continue saving for our accommodations as we cash stuff. But I think, oh, I have an extra $100 here. But what do I have left? Oh, I have my miscellaneous, which, you know what? I'm probably gonna put this in the bank because I kind of want to reset everything. I'll just keep the big bills in here. So we'll do 150, 250, 250 for our miscellaneous. So we're kind of just resetting our next trip. I had talked about a little bit. We are planning to go to Alberta in Canada. So this should cover everything. I feel like we are going with our larger family and we are planning to book an Airbnb. So hopefully it shouldn't be over $1,000. But like I said, I am going to continue cash stuffing this binder slowly to accumulate. We do have plans for next year, a bigger vacation, which we are planning to go to Asia with our family. So it'll be my side of the family. So we're going to Canada with my husband's side, and then we'll do Asia with my side of the family for next year. All right, that does it. Oh, no, it doesn't do it. This I'm gonna put to the bank. So let's just count up what we have because I am not feeling putting in smaller bills in there right now, because right now my thought process is I don't even know how much I want to put in each envelope. So I'll just continue saving for whatever we need, but it's a good reset. We do have a smaller trip planned, so I think the amount that's in there right now is a good amount. This I will just end up saving. It'll be like kind of a reward to me for not spending that much on our Europe trip. So, all right, I'm gonna put this in the bank. It's literally gonna go into savings. I don't know, maybe we'll invest it in something. Yeah, I think we'll just invest it in something or something like that. Okay, so we have 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 200, 20, 40, not 20, 40, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 81, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 297, which I'm $3 shy of $300, but it's gonna go to the bank with this, and obviously not these placeholders, but yeah, that'll do it for this cash stuffing. Let me, okay, yeah, this will go to the bank. So I'm just gonna say this is how much we spent for our travels, which I feel like is a good amount for a 2-week trip in a fairly expensive place in the world. I think a lot of people say that Europe's pretty expensive compared to like going to Asia or South America or something. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. So that does it for my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd love it if you would hit that like button, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload new content. I will see you all in my next one. Bye, everyone.